Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds, or Cricket Nerd, because it's just me. Benj and James aren't available today, but we thought it was worth doing a reaction to the India versus West Indies Test match that had just happened. It was a interesting Test match in which India pretty much dominated from ball one. Really, I think before the match even started, it was going to take some very, very good cricket from the West Indies to beat this Indian team, who they're just a very good Test match team, very solid in all areas. And West Indies are still trying to rebuild. They're a struggling side at the moment, but we wanted to get a reaction out there, let you know our thoughts. So I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and Benji and James's thoughts all together. But the first thing we thought was Ashwin. He's the big one, isn't he? He's the main difference between most sides in terms of his ability to get wickets in any conditions, really. He just needs a little bit of assistance, and there was in this pitch, there was just a little bit of assistance, and he was able to work his magic. I mean, he's a crafty player. He doesn't just spin it from his natural ability. He also uses the angles. He almost provides that other way of spinning the ball, and he just toys with batsmen. It feels like a wicket's around the corner at any stage for him. Especially that wicket to Chanderpaul in that first innings. That was a special delivery. The way he deceived him with the angle, beautiful bit of bowling. So you can't really fault him. And he was introduced early in both innings. He was introduced, I think, in the eighth over in the first innings and the fifth over in the second innings. So India obviously saw him as their main wicket taker, and he proved it. 12 wickets in the match. He bowled him very, very well, incredibly well. And it was just hard work for the West Indies. They didn't really know what to do against Ashwin. It's hard when you're facing that class to really perform. So yeah, Ashwin just looked a step above the rest, really. Coming on to India's batting, though, there's only one player to really talk about in depth, and that's Yashasvi Jaiswal, who he's a serious talent. He looks very impressive. He just adds to that growing list of Indian top order talented batsmen who are going to have a wonderful career. I know he was playing at a West Indies lineup which wasn't that strong, and he's going to face more troubling test sides in the future. However, it doesn't matter what opposition you come up against. A century is a century at the end of the day. And out of all the Indian batsmen, for me, he looked most in control for his whole innings. He looked very assured. He played some classy shots. He's solid in defence. And yeah, he was patient, and that's what you need from your Test match opener. Or sometimes he is that patient opener, and we've seen him in 2020 cricket in the IPL. We've seen how explosive he is, and to see how he played in the Test matches shows a real class, a real maturity. And yeah, I can see him doing big things for India in the future. Also, Kohli and Sharma, they played very well, ably supporting the innings of Jaiswal. But it's a big boost for India knowing that players like Kohli and Sharma are doing well, because they are the main batsmen for India, really. Sharma at the top of the order, Kohli in the middle. That's where they're going to get their big runs. They're the key Indian players, and they need them to step up, which they definitely did, to get India to a total that was just too much for the West Indies. And there wasn't much from the West Indies bowlers to really trouble the Indian batsmen. And I think that's where we come on to the third point, is where can West Indies go from here? And I think the first thing is to prepare a pitch which suits them. The pitch was more akin to an Indian pitch than a West Indian pitch that we're used to. It didn't turn that much in the first innings, but it turned enough. And really, and also it was very slow pitch. And really, in West Indies, you want a pitch which is offering more off the surface, that a bit more spice in the wicket, a bit more pace, because West Indies, they need to play to their strengths, and their strength is their fast bowling. They've got Alsari Joseph, who's incredibly quick bowler, and with just a little bit of assistance, he'd do great things. You've also got Kemar Roach, who provides that experience, but he's also a very good pace bowler. So they need that pace in the wicket to really unsettle the Indian batsman, because on a slow, good wicket for spinners, India are used to that. They're going to play well, aren't they? So West Indies need to play to their strengths a bit. But positives for West Indies is they have some good young batsmen in that squad. They've got Chanderpaul and Athanas, who Athanas played very well in the first innings. Sad to miss out on a debut 50. But they've also got impressive first-class records, better than some of the other West Indian batsmen who they're relying on, like Blackwood and Reefer. Athanas and Chanderpaul, they look like they've got something about them. There's a bit more talent there, and hopefully going forward they can provide a lot more important innings and show a bit of stubbornness to not let the Indian bowlers get on top of them in the second test. And it really hangs on how our Brathwaite does at the top of the order as well. A lot rests on his shoulders as the captain. He has to lead from the front. And that first innings dismissal, he gave his wicket away. It was just not necessary. So he's got to make the most of that first innings. But it was hard to watch, especially if you're a West Indian supporter, because like James said, it felt like bullying almost the way India played against West Indies. But I think, India are just a different class, aren't they? And yeah, it's sad for West Indies, but there's a lot of positives for India. It's never easy touring, and so they played very well. And West Indies just they weren't up to scratch in this game. But that said, we've got one more Test match. Hopefully, West Indies will make more of a game of it. But we'll just have to wait and see. But thank you very much for watching. Make sure you make sure you subscribe, share this with your friends. The Cricket Nerds podcast will go in somewhere. We've got a lot of videos in store for you. So please continue the support. It's much appreciated. And we look forward to seeing you in another future podcast.